I have like the craziest Target story. Like, let me show you the stuff and then I'll tell you the story. It's like crazy. Like, I couldn't even believe it myself. But I bought this shirt dress and it looks like nothing special like here on camera, but when I put it on, and I will do an outfit of the day on Instagram, like, it's beautiful. Like, it just fits beautiful. It has like this short sleeve, this pockets, faux pockets right here, and then it cinches at the waist and then it comes out a little bit, and then it has like a zipper. I know you can't see it because it's all kinds of like fabric. And then I got the most cutest bag from the Phillip Lim collection. This is the bag that everybody wanted, and I know everybody wanted it because let me tell you my mission to get this little bag. I'm in LA. It's 7 in the morning. My mom wakes me up and she's like, are you gonna go to work? Are you gonna go to Santa Barbara? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay, well, get up. And I was like, okay. So I snoozed it till like 7:30. Am I the only one? Like, I seriously put my alarm for 7 and I'm there snoozing it for like half an hour. I don't even know why. And finally, like, it's 7:30 and I leave out the door at 8. And I'm driving down the big hill on the 101, and I'm like, oh, it's about to be 9 now. I'm like, oh, I wonder what time Target opens. I'm like, the Phillip Lim stuff comes out today. Let me go check it out, right? So I look at my phone real quick, and they open at 8. I was like, since when does Target open at 8? Like, I always thought they opened like at 10 or something. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'll just swing by real quick. I work at 11. Like, I'll just swing by real quick before, you know, on my way to work or whatever. So then I go, and I'm about to park, and I see this, like, creepy-ass lady, and the only reason why I noticed her was because it looked like her cart had, like, yellow octopus legs, like, sticking out of her cart, and I was like, what the hell is that? So I was like, okay, whatever. So I walk into Target, and there's a lot of Targets on the way to Santa Barbara, but I stopped at one of them. And I went and I go and all I want is the yellow bag. It's not there. And I'm like, oh, like they must have in back stock or something. Like, I've worked retail a long time, you know, it's usually what's on the floor, especially if it's new, like there should be more in the back, or maybe they didn't send them a lot or something, so I didn't see it. And there was like bits and pieces of other stuff. So I'm like, maybe they didn't stock it good or something. It's only 9. They've only been open an hour. So then I go talk to the lady. I was like, oh, excuse me, can you give me the there's this bag, but it's not there. And she's all like, oh, well, that's all we have. And she was being all rude. And I was like, oh, like, why are you being rude? And she's like, that's all we have out, and that's all that's there. I'm like, oh, it's just, I just wanted this one bag. She's like, well, if you wanted that bag, you should have came at 8. And I was like, oh, ew, you're mean. Like, what is that? So I was just all like, I didn't even know you guys opened at 8, but it's just this yellow bag. And she's like, the yellow bag? Some lady literally came in here 5 minutes before you did and took all our yellow bags. And I was like, octopus lady. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, can you tell me another Target? I'm on my way to Santa Barbara. I told her, can you tell me another Target that might have it? And she's like, we'll go get the SKU. And she's still being rude. I was like, why are you being mean? I was like, okay, whatever. Maybe she's having a bad morning or something. So then I get the SKU, I come back, and she's all like, Thousand Oaks has one. And I was just like, no, I'm not going back south. I'm going up north. And she was just like, oh, okay, well, Ventura has one, and like Ventura West has 2, and everybody else is sold out. I was like, oh, are you freaking kidding me? And I'm thinking at this point, they probably only gave them 3, because there's only 3, like, enough on the display for 3 or whatever. So then I go to the next Target, and I'm like, okay, there's only one here. So, you know, just if it's not there, I'll go to the next Target or whatever. I know I'm like crazy at this point. So I drive to the next Target. It's like almost 9:30 at this point. And I get out of the car, I park, and guess who's walking in front of me? Octopus lady. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? So I see her, she sees me, I know she sees me, so I start walking fast. She sees me, she starts walking faster. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me right now? So like, we're literally like, I'm not even joking, like we're literally like almost like bumping into each other, like trying to get through the door. And we walked straight to the Phillip Lim stuff, because as soon as you walked in, it was right there right away. And like there was bits and pieces again, and the bag was gone. And I'm like, fuck, like really? So I'm thinking, okay, like maybe somebody like put it down like at another like section or something. And I'm sitting there like standing, I'm like, oh really? And then this lady like sees me and she's like, the yellow bag. I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah, I came all the way from Thousand Oaks to get it and it's not here and this and that. And she was like, my Target was wiped out in 15 minutes. I got there at 8:15 and it was wiped out. I'm like, holy crap. Like at this point, I'm like, this is a big deal. Like, I was like, oh, okay, well, hopefully you get stuff you like. And she's like, yeah, I found other stuff. And I was like, okay, bye, whatever. And then I go to the regular handbag section. I'm like, maybe it's right there. And then I go and I see this girl with it. And I'm just like, oh, fuck. And she sees me. She's like, excuse me? And I was just like, oh. I was like, the yellow bag. Like, I called for it. And she's like, oh, I know. It's the last one. Like, being all, like cocky. And I was like, yeah. And she's all like, yeah, I have the Target app. And I'm like, I don't have time for your crap. Like, okay, bye, whatever. So then I leave and I rush to the next one. And I'm like, okay, if it's not in the next one, like, it's not meant to be. Like, I'm not even gonna worry about it. So I go to the next one, I park, and I'm like scanning for the octopus lady and she's not there. So I'm just like, okay, good, you're not here. So then I get out of the car, I walk, and I see the Phillip Lim stuff, and there it is. There was 2 of the yellow bags of this one that's like this, and then there was 1 of the rectangle yellow bags. And I was like, ah, it's so beautiful. So what do? I freaking panic and I grab all 3 bags. And then I'm like this, like holding all 3 bags. And some lady sees me, some viejita, okay? And she's all like, oh, excuse me. And I look at her, I'm like, yes. And she's all like, are you gonna buy all of those? I'm like, no. And she's all like, well, do you mind if I have one? And I'm thinking, shit, you better give me $10. You want to rip one off my hand? But, I mean, I just thought it. I didn't tell her. She's a viejita, pobrecita. So I was just all like, oh, no, here you go. And I just gave it to her. And then I was, like, standing there, like, why did I do that? Like, why did I grab all of them in a panic? I don't know. So, anyways, I grabbed the bag. And at this point, I call my friend, Xiomara, and I'm like, dude, if you want that gray big handbag, like, they're all gone everywhere. Like, you better check your Target. Like, everything's gone. And I called her, do you want anything? Like, the Target I'm at almost has everything. And she said she just wanted the gray bag. And I'm like, no, like, they don't have it here. None of the ones I went to had it. And she's like, oh, let me check. And she checks the Target by her house. Sold out. The next Target sold out. She, like, 4 Targets came up on her, like, closest Targets to her. And they were all sold out. And it's 9:30. And I'm just like, dang. And I'm like calling her, I'm talking to her or whatever. I'm like texting her. And this lady sees me and she's all like, oh, this is kind of a big deal, huh? And I look at her, I'm like, kinda. And she's all like, oh, I know. My daughter Townsend wakes me up at 5 in the morning talking about her girlfriend from New York called her saying you better run to Target as soon as they're open because all of the ones over here are wiped out in 15 minutes. I was like, dang, like that's serious. And then I thought, who names their daughter Townsend? Like, I thought that was the last name. But, I don't know, guys are named Ashley, so whatever. So I was just like, uh-huh. And then I met Townsend and I felt bad because she was really nice. And I was all right there chismeando and stuff. And like I said, I was just going to get the yellow bag, right? And then Townsend's the one that convinces me to get the dress. And she's like, oh, you have to go try it on and this and that. I'm like, fuck, okay. So I go try it on and I fall in love with it. So thanks, Townsend, if you're watching. Probably not. But yeah, I was like, wow, that was intense story. And I still get to work like 5 minutes early. It's like, I made it and everything. And I was just like, dang, like it was serious. And then I like checked Instagram, or I checked the online at midnight. Like that midnight when it released, like whatever day it was, and the 2 yellow bags were sold out and everything else was there. And then after my whole like spiel or whatever, my whole adventure, I check at 10 I think, and I think everything was sold out. So that was crazy. Like online, I guess everything sold out within that 10-hour span, and in stores like in 15 minutes. But honestly, like they didn't give them a lot of the stuff. Like they gave them a little bit of the stuff. So I have a feeling why, but whatever. I got it. If you got it, you're lucky too, because I know people were crying about it on Instagram, talking about everything sold out and I'm so mad. So yeah, I guess early bird catches the worm. That's the moral, right?